Hi everyone, welcome to the Witching Week. Today is episode 111. In today's episode we are going to be talking about vocal toning. I'm going to show you a book that I've heard very good reviews of, and I'm going to be asking a little favour of you guys. So grab a cup of tea, put some incense on, get comfy, and we'll explore the Witching Week. Hi everyone, welcome back. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. If you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Wren. I'm known as the Cemetery Witch, and if this is a repeat visit, then welcome back. It's so good to have you here. So what am I drinking this week in terms of tea? I'm on blackcurrant and blueberry, and as I said before, neither of these are my favourite flavours, but it's okay, But I am burning what is now my favourite incense, this meditation incense that I picked up in Glastonbury recently. I said last week that I would be burning this one for a while, and I am. What are you all doing? How are you all feeling? What have you been up to? Have you done anything exciting? Are you still celebrating Beltaine? Well, it's been a bit of a funny week this week. We have had lots of super bright, warm sunshine. Thursday was a bit of a weird day. It was very sort of murky and overcast and quite frankly cold in our house. But we've gone back to the lovely sunshine now, and I have been feeling that energy. I have been absolutely loving it. I have to talk about the full moon we've just had though. Very, very intense energy. It's interesting, obviously being on social media, seeing people talk, and then running a group as well. Lots of people feeling either very, very hyped up by the full moon, this one in particular, or feeling quite beaten and quite low and quite depressed. Some people not really feeling sort of very sure about how they are, but feeling very unsettled. For me, I wasn't really any of those things, but I definitely acknowledged that very, very intense energy, and I didn't quite know what to make of it. And I've sort of made a mental note to remember about the full moon in this particular sign, because next time it rolls around again, I want to sort of be ready for it. But yeah, very, very intense. I don't usually sleep very well around the full moon. Usually the night before and the night of is very, very sort of disruptive. My husband is the same. I've noticed that he doesn't sleep well at all at full moon, and he's very sort of volatile. And then usually the night after I get a good night's sleep, but that hasn't happened yet, and it's taking a little while to come down from those full moon energies. But I'm feeling the full energy of the sun, and I've been thinking about summer solstice a lot, as I said last week, because I am doing the planning and the prep work for next month's Patreon, which is all about solar magic. We're looking at magic squares, we're looking at sun sigils and spells and sun water, and so I'm very much in my head thinking about peak energy, you know, the sun being at its peak. And when you align that with super bright warm sunshine all week, then yeah, I've been really feeling it. It's very strange how we can go through sort of a solar cycle, the year, and the years can look a little bit different. And this spring has been like no other that I can remember. So I've really been riding on those waves this week. It's been absolutely fantastic. So something I got up to this week is I went to what we called a wood stacking party. We took a big delivery of wood up at Pippin's Potions HQ, which is where I do tarot and a hub for our community, my local pagan community. And we received wood for winter, so we split and put that away. I say we, I didn't do any of the hard work of the splitting, but I picked up some little bits and stacked them. And once we did this, we had a fire and hot chocolate and s'mores, and we decided, or my friend led us in this group, we decided we were going to do some vocal toning, or toning as some people shorten it to. So in case you don't know what vocal toning is, it is the practice of producing sustained vocal sounds. And you do this with a view for healing. So you use your voice to create a tone or a low hum, or you might come up with an elaborate noise that you can make with your voice. Sometimes you hear people doing this, sometimes at celebrations they'll make out a sort of a call, they'll let out a call. But anyway, you do this as a group. We did this to the beat of a drum, and the sounds at first, everything's a bit disjointed, and then as you get into the flow of it and you relax a bit and you let go a bit, you allow, well, it just kind of happens like magic. The noises and your voices and the sounds you're producing sort of merge together and they flow, and people come in and out as their breath allows. And the idea is somebody gets into the center of the circle and they receive healing from the vibrations and the resonance of using your voice in this way. So it was extremely powerful. I didn't get into the circle, I just sat and sang and hummed and produced notes and did what I could, but that just felt very powerful just doing that. As I was making some, I'm going to call them noises, but as I was singing some tones and doing some low pitch sounds, some of them were bouncing off the energy produced by the drum, by the person drumming next to me, and I could hear it, she could hear it too. It was really, really fascinating. So I thought I'd look up the benefits of vocal toning. Now, one of the benefits is said to be physical healing. Our cells and tissues are stimulated by sound, in particular vocal toning, and apparently this can lower stress and blood pressure. And I definitely think that once you get over the I guess the initial embarrassment, I don't feel that. I've got to an age and a point in my life where I literally don't care. I'll just go for something, I'm not bothered. And actually I find this to be really enjoyable, to just get stuck into whatever task is ahead. But yeah, it's said to lower stress and lower blood pressure. And I suppose that would be whether you're singing or whether you're receiving the healing or you're just watching. I think hearing all these lovely noises come together and harmonise really do have an effect on mood and how we're feeling emotionally. And this is the next benefit that I'm going to tell you about: emotional balance. Apparently vocal toning can help to release emotional blockages, and for me really it was just lovely taking part in a community activity. And even if, you know, at the beginning we were sort of giggling, we were getting over our shyness, that's really, really nice. It's really good to laugh together. It's really good to take something seriously and get it done. But I think perhaps if you're too serious and we'd all been super perfect at it, we wouldn't have had that laughter and it wouldn't have had that mirth and that joy that actually is really, really uplifting and really, really good for the soul. Apparently it's good for aligning your chakras. The different tones that you can produce are said to sort of align and balance with the different chakras in your body. It improves breath control, apparently. And certainly as someone who runs out of breath when I'm talking, as I do when I'm doing these videos because I have a heart problem, I found that I could hold a note for actually a lot longer than I realised. It's really, really good for exercising the lungs. So actually it is a bit of a workout in that respect. It's good for you. It's physically good for you. You can strip back you know, the spiritual aspect of it. I know some people would have looked at us as a group and thought we were absolutely bonkers, but actually it is really, really good for you. And apparently vocal toning helps to enhance meditation and your ability to meditate. It really helps with focus and concentration, which, you know, consequently deepens meditative practice. So a lot of fun. If you have a group or you have a community, get them together, get some drums and start playing with your voices and making some sounds. There are other sound therapies, of course, if this is your thing. There are things like gong baths and sound baths and singing bowls. There are things such as like binaural beats, and also you can find lots of songs and music on YouTube that are set to a certain hertz. So 432 hertz is supposed to be really good for you. There is tuning fork therapy. I think that's probably one of the older sort of music therapies before we've like really come to embrace music therapy recently. And just, I think playing music and singing generally is just really, really good for us. whether you do this as an individual or you do this as a group. It's said to improve focus and memory. It's really good again for stress management. It builds confidence. It gives you a sense of achievement. It increases your pain threshold, and it cultivates creativity and boosts happiness. My mum sings in a choir. She's, by her own admission, she's not a brilliant singer. I can't sing very well at all either, but she just enjoys it. She enjoys it for the community atmosphere and just the way you feel when you sing. It's really, really good for you. And we've always had music, song and poetry within religion and spirituality and within witchcraft as well. And we can integrate sounds and music and our voices into spells and rituals. So for example, let's think of some. So singing the runes. Obviously, we speak first when we're doing magic spells. We might hum, we might repeat a word over and over, perhaps we might use a mantra, and we can sing spells as well. There are some charms that are meant to be sung. So I want to just leave this little section of the Witching Week with a quote from Khalil Gibran. So he said, "Music is the language of the spirit. It opens the secret of life, bringing peace, abolishing strife." And I thought that just summed it up absolutely perfectly. So if you do manage to get a group of friends together, just let go and have fun. Just let go of your inhibitions and go for it. Again, I've got to that age now where I really don't care. And I'm happy to just let go. And I'm sure it's really cringy and embarrassing for younger people perhaps watching, maybe some people my own age. But actually, as you get older, you realise now when you look back and you think, oh, I remember sort of middle-aged women doing weird things, and now I understand why. So it was lovely to do it, and it was lovely to enjoy the Beltaine vibe with the fire and friends and mirth. And yeah, I want to say something about that next actually. Beltaine is not over. The Beltaine vibe is still here. I just want to sort of remind everyone, as I often do on the Witching Week, that the festivals of the year are not just a day. There's a whole transition into them, and there is a whole transition out of them. And we are still very much in Beltaine season. We're still in that sort of like moment of celebration. You know, we've come out of the winter, we're moving into the summer or the lighter half of the year, and this really is a time for celebration. So if you're only just getting to celebrate with your friends now, that is absolutely okay. If you've got a celebration, Beltaine celebration this week or this weekend, that is absolutely fine. It still counts. Embrace the energy of the season. You can totally declare before going to the pub this weekend that you're going to go and celebrate Beltaine. We only have 5 weeks left to the summer solstice, I know, but I feel like the Beltaine energy is still around us. So embrace it, indulge and enjoy. I'm giving you my permission to do that. So talking of enjoyment, I just want to show you this book. I'm hearing really good reviews about this book. It's been around, I think it's been out for a while. I think it's been out for about a year. It's called How to Kill a Witch, A Guide for the Patriarchy, and it's by Claire Mitchell and Zoe Venditozzi. Now you might recognise those names from the Witching Week. They are the designers of the Witches of Scotland Tartan. So they've written a book. They're on this massive campaign at the moment to really make people think about the history of women and how they were accused as witches. Really, it's not just about women, it's about vulnerable and minority groups. It's about the rollback of the rights of women and how we need to be really careful not to repeat the mistakes of the past. So this book has been described as serious and angry, but so completely accessible. And I've just heard such good things about it. All the people I know who've bought it really, really dig it. And it really is written really to remember the witches, the women who were accused of being witches. They've said, where there is unchecked patriarchal power, it ends very badly for women. And yeah, with some of the things going on in terms of like women's fertility rights in America and things like that, I really do think we need to be careful about where we're going. So if you can get a copy of this, or you have got a copy of it, or you've read it, let me know what it's like. I'd love to hear. I am going to get it. It's going to go in my huge to read pile, but you know, even if I don't get around to reading it for a while, I will have sort of, you know, contributed to their cause and the message they are trying to get out, and I think that's really, really important. So moving on to the next topic, I'd like to give a shout out to someone on YouTube. I'd like to say hello to Cara at Pagan Crafting. Cara did a lovely video about a year ago about witchcraft channels that she really enjoys, and she tagged me in this post, and stupidly, I don't know how, I managed to completely miss this tag. It turns out there's a whole tab on YouTube for mentions, and I happened to stumble across this page the other week, a couple of weeks ago, and I noticed I'd been mentioned and she'd done a whole section. So my huge apologies, Cara. Please go over to her channel and check out her videos. She's got loads of lovely videos up. And thank you so much, lovely. It's really nice to connect with other witches, especially witches across the pond. And I'm just so sorry I'm such a technical idiot and that I didn't see it. I don't know why. And I guess I never thought anyone would tag me in anything, to be honest, because it's just me sitting in my kitchen, blathering on about this, that and the other, and of course my brain doesn't always connect to my mouth, so it's probably not the easiest watch sometimes. But anyway, I digress. Thank you so much, it is really appreciated, and I know that there will be people, I've got lots of lovely subscribers who will definitely come over and check out your channel, so please do that. Please go and show Cara some love. And in that sort of same vein, I've got a huge favour to ask. If you're watching this video and you haven't subscribed yet, please would you consider doing it? Most of the people watching my videos haven't subscribed. It only takes a second. It really helps to push the channel out, and it tells other people from a psychology point of view that my channel is worth watching. So if you are watching me, especially if you're watching me on a regular basis but you have not subscribed, please do that. You'd be making all the difference to my life. It would really help me to grow, and I'd really, really appreciate it. So thank you. And thank you if you're watching, even if you don't end up subscribing. I really, really appreciate your help. So something in the news this week which really, really just baffled me and I just thought was amazing. There is an issue of the Magna Carta which was wrongly categorised as a copy in the 1940s. Now this has been identified as an original. Harvard's Law School Library, they bought this copy back in 1946, and they decided that it wasn't a real issue of the Magna Carta, it was just a fake copy, but they kept it in their library all this time, and it turns out that it is actually a rare original from the year 1300, and it was issued by King Edward I, which is just absolutely mind-blowing. If you think about the age of this document, that is, I mean, it's ridiculous. It's so old. Anyway, it has been compared to various other texts, and it's had lots of tests carried out on it, and the experts have come to the conclusion that it is indeed an original copy of the Magna Carta from 1300. So I just thought that was absolutely amazing. It's worth millions. It's worth millions. Now, Harvard School Library, they are going to keep hold of it, I believe. They're not going to do anything with it. They're going to look after it. but that must have just been quite something, quite a discovery for them this week. So coming up next month on Patreon, we are doing solar magic. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, we're going to be looking at sun sigils and spells and sun water and magic squares, in particular the table of the sun, and I'm really excited about this. It's probably one of my favourite topics. So I thought we could have a little look at some solar deities just in preparation for next month, getting to the mood. After the sun we're doing the moon, and then after that we're doing planetary magic. I nearly said elemental magic. We're doing planetary magic, and yeah, I just really love these sky related topics. They really do fill me with joy. So let's have a look at 3 deities that I think are particularly interesting. We're just going to do a brief outline of them. Again, with the Witching Week, the idea is just to introduce you to topics and things that you can go and research a little bit further. First, we're going to look at Amaterasu, a Japanese deity. She is described as the great divinity illuminating heaven. She's the goddess of the sun in Japanese mythology, and she's one of the major deities in Shinto, which is a Japanese nature religion. That's probably the best way to describe it. One of her siblings is the moon god, and the other sibling is the storm god, and together they make the 3 precious children. And you'll find that there is a lot of stories all across the world in different religions and cultures where the moon and the sun are siblings. Quite often they're brother and sister, and there's usually a whole load of lore and stories and legends that are surrounding this relationship, and this crops up again and again. Now, her forms are the dragon and the snake, which I really like, and she is mostly depicted as good-natured, which I really love. The next goddess we're going to look at is Hathor. She is a major solar deity in ancient Egyptian culture. She's symbolic mother of the pharaohs, who were considered the earthly manifestations of Ra, and Ra was the sun god, and he was the creator of all the gods. He was a really important deity. So she was believed to give birth to the sun every dawn, and she's associated with all those lovely cheery things that you would expect to be associated with the sun. So love, joy, passion, sexuality, health, abundance, vitality. Next, we're going to look at Surya, who is both the sun and the sun god in Hinduism. So he's worshipped by many as the supreme deity, basically. He is another solar deity who rides a chariot. Again, if you look at the stories of religions and different cultures across the world, there are lots of patterns and there are lots of similar stories, and many of them involve a chariot or some form of transportation to take the sun across the sky. Sometimes it's the moon. Now, his chariot has 7 horses, and then in other stories he has 1 horse with 7 heads. But what I love about these stories is that this number 7 is said to represent the days of the week, and also the 7 colours of the rainbow, which I think is just beautiful. He's a dispeller of darkness. And what I love about all of these stories about the solar deities is that most of them, they are bright, they're cheery, they're affable, they are just usually quite uplifting, and some of the stories and lore and legends associated with these deities are that way as well. So as somebody born in the summer who, as I've said before on the Witching Week, is very much a solar witch, I just really love all this energy, and I really love the solar deities. They really do have me fascinated, and I'm just getting into anything solar, just really sort of in a huge way. And actually it was the same when I was younger. When I got my first tattoo, I did in fact get a tattoo of the sun. The sun is so important to me. Even just the imagery, you know, when you see like the vintage sun with the face, it just does something to me. I don't know what it is. So I'm going to leave you with all that sunny, uplifting, bright, cheery energy and vibe and thought. We're going to do some cards now. We're going to check out the energy for the week ahead. I'd love to hear in the comments what you think. Maybe you don't like the sun, maybe it's the thing that makes you sad, maybe you can't wait for autumn and you can't wait for winter and those dark days. I just love the energy that it gives me. I just feel better, I just look better. I mean, we're all so much better for a bit of vitamin D and a bit of colour on our faces, I think, because otherwise we're a bit pasty in the UK with just like constant grey skies and yeah, dark gloomy weather. I think it does us all good when we get a bit of colour. Right, let's pick out some cards for today. Okay, we've got 3 cards today. Now, I'm just going to put a little disclaimer in that this message isn't going to necessarily resonate for everyone watching. If you feel like it resonates with you, then it's for you. So we have the Emperor, we have the 7 of Swords, and we have the 2 of Swords. Now, I'm finding that the number 7 is cropping up a lot in tarot for me as a tarot reader. At the moment, I've had 7 come up an awful lot, either for other people or for myself. But anyway, the message for today is life is hard. Life is really, really hard. And sometimes we have really, really difficult decisions that we need to make. Sometimes we have some really, really difficult things that we need to tackle. Now, the message here, and it's going to be a direct, straightforward one, as it always is from me, because I'm fairly straight talking, and as it always is from the tarot, you need to be a grown-up. You need to pull your socks up, and I mean this in the kindest possible, most, loveliest way, for your own good. This is the tough love talking, but you need to be a grown-up to get this situation sorted. You need to just put your grown-up head on, you need to stop cutting corners, and you need to just come up with a plan, and you need to be responsible, and you need to stop avoiding what it is that you need to tackle. So this is probably going to take some degree of effort and energy. You're going to have to become very organised and methodical. You might have to be a bit difficult with some people, and I don't mean difficult in a bad way because you're being a dick, but you're gonna just have to get people to get on side, really. You're gonna have to give them the tough love, you're gonna have to be assertive, you're gonna have to be powerful, and you're gonna have to step up into a different persona, perhaps one you are not used to having. It's the only way to get things sorted. You've been avoiding something for a while, you've been ignoring it, you've been pretending that it's not happening, but now it's time to tackle it before, the situation just runs away and you end up with an outcome that you don't want. So, sort it out. Message from Auntie Wren, sort it out. Step into responsibility, step into being an adult, step into that persona that we all have within us, that very sort of masculine, responsible leadership, taking, hold of the reins and taking decisive action. It's time to take action. It's time to stop dilly-dallying. It's time to stop pretending that certain things aren't going on, and it's time to actually go, right, okay, it's time to roll my sleeves up, and it's time to come up with a solution to this problem. You're totally capable, you're totally able, you just need to have some belief in yourself. And when you realise this, when that moment actually just goes ping in your head, it will all become so much easier. But at the moment, you're doing a disservice to yourself by not getting the shit done. So on that note, there's your little lecture for the week. You can't help it, the tarot's going to tell you straight, the tarot's just going to say it how it is. Right, I'm wishing you an absolutely wonderful week, full of sunshine. I hope you have a lovely weekend, and I'll be back next Friday. I'm sending you lots of love and blessings. Until next week, goodbye.